with us because we're obviously in the right and we have a legal binding contract. But look, let me tell you, this fight, I was ready to make a month ago. I want to make this fight, not as a promoter, as a fan. I want the Vergil Ortiz boot fight. There's a manager that I'll never ever work with in my life, Rick Meridian.
Grand opening, grand closing. God dang, your man Ego cracked the bottle open again. Oscar De La Hoya. I do believe that Vergil, he is suing me, right? Oscar De La Hoya breaks his silence and officially speaks on the situation with Vergil Ortiz and why the Boots fight fell apart. So in this video, I'm going to break it down. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy had a fight card, and DAZN interviewed him. This is what he had to say.
Getting ready for a terrific main event, Barbosa against Sims. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but I got to ask you about the state of the Vergil Ortiz situation. It has devolved into a legal battle. It has been sent to arbitration, has to happen before September. We've seen Vergil take to social media, Boots Ennis take to social media. Where do we stand from your perspective on the Vergil Ortiz situation?
Well, first of all, yes, the judge ruled with us.
You see that? Well, first of all, yes, the judge ruled with us, meaning that round of the legal process, Golden Boy got what they wanted, not Team Ortiz, which is exactly what I've been telling y'all. Let's keep it going.
Where do we stand from your perspective on the Vergil Ortiz situation?
Well, first of all, yes, the judge ruled with us because we're obviously in the right and we have a legal binding contract.
We have a legally binding contract with Vergil Ortiz.
But look, let me tell you, this fight, I was ready to make a month ago. I want to make this fight, not as a promoter, as a fan. I want the Vergil Ortiz boot fight.
Oscar reiterates, I want Vergil Ortiz versus Boots. But pay attention to this part. Keep your thinking caps on and your ears open. Listen to what he says about Vergil's manager.
There's a manager that I'll never ever work with in my life, Rick Meridian. I will never work with him again. I want the Vergil Ortiz boot fight. There's a manager that I'll never ever work with in my life, Rick Meridian. I will never work with him again.
There's a manager in boxing that I will never ever work with again in my life. I'm not working with him on Dead Homies, Oscar De La Hoya said.
He is the one that's keeping the fight from happening. He is the guy who wanted to pocket, who lined his pockets with money. So
he said, Rick Meridian is the guy I'll never work with. A day in my life is over. I'm not working with that guy anymore. And he is the reason the fight didn't happen. I want to make the Boots fight with Vergil Ortiz.
Fight. I was ready to make a month ago. I want to make this fight, not as a promoter, as a fan. I want the Vergil Ortiz boot fight. There's a manager that I'll never ever work with in my life, Rick Meridian. I will never work with him again. He is the one that's keeping the fight from happening. He is the guy who wanted to pocket, who lined his pockets with money. So that guy did not help us to make the fight. I want to make the fight. It should happen.
So how does this situation end? Because it is going to go to arbitration, but there's also been some personal stuff out there. You were on social media talking about Vergil's father and the things they've seen him do over the last few months. Doesn't it seem like we've reached kind of a point of no return with Golden Boy and Vergil?
Well, I mean, yes, from what I see on social media, the things that they have said, the disloyalty, I've treated this kid right from the start. When Eric Gomez, my president, discovered him in the amateurs, we've treated them with respect. We've paid him well. We've given him all the opportunities to take him to the world title. Now the Boots fight is going to happen. And it doesn't happen because of this Rick Meridian, the president, the matchman, the manager. So I will.
Again, he throws Rick Meridian, the manager, under the bus and reiterates, I will never work with that guy again.
Manager, so I will never ever work with Rick Meridian again. And this fight must happen. I want it to happen, so let's do something about it. I still want to see this fight as a fan.
Do you think there's a chance you can work with Vergil again?
From what he said, there's no way I will work with him again. But look, Vergil's a grown-ass man. He's 30 years old. He can make his own decisions. I've treated him with respect. If he's not going to treat me with respect, then there's nothing I can do.
Ready for a terrific main.
Now, I tell y'all, I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. Them other content creators, they're not like me. I'm your favorite content creator's favorite content creator, period. The information that I put out, you can take it to the bank, and the check always cashes. This is exactly what I've told y'all, what I warned you about. You guys are like, no, Golden Boy, Oscar don't want to fight. And then that's the problem with boxing. And we got to cleanse and purify the sport of boxing. I've been doing this for a while, so I don't fear no other content creator. There's space for everybody. But what there isn't space for is clickbait 24/7 content and low quality content. And the problem with the internet is everybody got an opinion and they put it out. But there's a lot of people, don't get it twisted. It's like Jay said, only dudes moving units in Pimp Juice and us. I've been full-time with this for over a decade. There's a lot of dudes that claim they're YouTubers, claim they're full-time, but trust me, they're not making full-time income like Boxingego, and there's like a handful of people in boxing that are making full-time legit. Like, I live in California. You could come down here, the rent is crazy, right? Especially with what's going on in the world, gas prices and stuff. You come live out here if you think it's sweet. So there's not a lot of people that could live, comfortably in California and stuff on their YouTube salary, right? So that's the reality of it. And when I say I'm the best in the business, you got to believe it. I told you this with Oscar and Golden Boy. Now he's on wax saying, I'll never work with him again. And you got to ask yourself some questions. For example, it's cool, your manager, it's like an actor having an agent. But what if your agent, Christopher Nolan, wants to put you in the Dark Knight movie or the new Odyssey movie? But because of your agent, the agent gets in an argument with Christopher Nolan, and then they like, nah, you can't be in my movie. So isn't that the opposite of what an agent or a manager would be doing? Right? Think about what I'm saying. Rick Meridian, okay, you're trying to get your fighter more money. That's not inherently bad, right? Because keep in mind, if Vergil make more money, then Rick Meridian will probably make more money because he'll probably get a percentage or whatever they worked out, right? But here's the kicker. If your manager is beefing with your promoter, and then if your promoter, which Golden Boy so far, they won the first couple rounds, has the paperwork and the language in their contract where you're legally bound to them, now this new friction, you're not making no money and you're having to spend your bread. I've already made a video about it. His own father said that. I have the tweet. His pop said, my son, he didn't duck boots and he's having to spend his own money in order to try to fight Golden Boy. Good luck with that. So what I'm saying is, back to the initial point, isn't that the opposite of making money? If you hire a manager to help you get money, cool, if it works. But in this instance, Vergil is sidelined, lost out on the boots fight. Like, Meridian tried to cut Golden Boy out, say, hey, we don't need that. I can make more money with Eddie Hearn and brokered this deal and left Golden Boy out the loop, right? Only for that deal to fall apart because the judge extended it and said, while this arbitration, before it's resolved with an arbitrator, you can't do nothing with a third party. You guys got to hash this out. So, like Oscar just said in that clip I played, Golden Boy, the judge sided with them. So, again, ain't that the opposite of making money? You're having to spend your own money for retainers and lawyer fees and try to fight him. To a fighter, Vergil Ortiz, let's be real. We don't know him from streaming. We don't know him to be like some charismatic character. So he makes his coin, his shekel, by fighting. So you're going to be inactive. And then with De La Hoya saying, I'll never work with your manager again, if he has you tied to that contract legally, that at least, at the very least, shows me this might be a decently lengthy battle that maybe takes till September to conclude, because right now it seems like the sides are kind of far apart. You see what I'm saying? So again, in the end, this is the opposite of making money. This is the opposite of fighting Boots. And then Vergil's team trying to come out like, oh, we try to fight you in Saudi Arabia. We don't care about that. Right now, Boots pulled up to your fight. He did a little face-off. Him and his side came correct. They were ready and willing to fight you and negotiate. It was your side that had to hold up because of the wires crossed misalignment and the now newfound friction between you and Golden Boy. That is 100% on your side. It don't have nothing to do with Boots. So no way you can spin it, bend it, pull it, twist it, or contort it to make it Boots' fault or Eddie Hearn's fault because y'all ain't ready. Now, keep in mind, I'm a content creator, so I do this every single day. And y'all know that. Subscribe. And Oscar gave fair warning to Team Ortiz, like, hey, stop trying to be a hero. He was doing them clapback Thursdays and doing the videos saying, know your role, like The Rock say, fall back, know your position, know your role, don't do too much. And the managers need to stop meddling and getting in the way. We can try to make this fight. And he warned them. They kept pushing on, and then now it's led to what it's led. The two sides are bickering, and now the courts are involved. So for real, Boots, he has to move on because there's no sense in him stalling out his career because another person. And now I think Vergil's whole situation is FUBAR because it'll probably take the full length unless you submit and like give up your case, which is exactly why Boxingego said what I said. And y'all were like, oh, Oscar's getting in the way. Well, now the two sides are far apart and he's saying he's not working with Vergil's people. So fight ain't happening anytime soon and you got a legal battle. So when Ego says something, you should